Democrats say Georgia's record voter turnout is actually voter suppression. Can't make this stuff up. I mean, this is Orwellian speak, straight up lies, and they just make stuff up. I mean, and they get caught every time because when you hit them with facts, and the facts is actually opposite of what they be saying. We know that it's been record turnout. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. When you hit that alarm bell, change it from personal to all. That way you get all my notifications for when I'm putting out stuff. And check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. And there's also a link to my Instagram where I put out tons of news throughout the day. So check that out as well. All right, let's talk about this news. Georgia's 2021 voter ID law was supposed to usher in a new era of, quote, Jim Crow 2.0, according to Democrats. President Joe Biden said it would make that previous era of American history look like Jim Eagle. Yeah, he really did say that. The Democrats at large, including current Peachtree State gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams, warned that millions of minorities would be disenfranchised. All because of an ID. They ask you for an ID at the poll, which everyone knows you need an ID to do almost anything in this country. Except the opposite has happened. Since early voting began on October 17th, more than 1 million people have voted via early voting and absentee ballots. That's right, 1 million people. So where's the suppression? That has smashed previous records when asked about the fact White House Press Secretary Jean-Pierre offered up a cacophony of excuses. I mean, so they asked her about it. Quote, as you know, I have to be careful. I cannot get into politics from here, Jean-Pierre said, despite the fact she seems to slam MAGA Republicans in midterms and election deniers every other day. She claimed that Republicans have been promoting anti-voting laws around the country despite not providing any examples. And of course, could they just say stuff and don't give you any don't give you any sources or any way to they don't give you any way of backing up what they say. And they don't have to because the media isn't going to check them on that. But quote, the president has been very clear that based on the big lie, they have been a host of anti-voter policies forced on states that challenge America's fundamental right to vote, the access to voting, she claimed. So this is against our most basic value, including respect for the law and the Constitution. Oh, now they talk about respect for the law and Constitution. I could get into some stuff with that, but I'm not going to right now. But the big lie, of course, refers to former President J. Trump's belief that there was election fraud in the 2020 presidential election. According to KJP, implying that American elections aren't secure is tantamount to being a traitor. Of course, as documented, KJP herself is an election denier, and I've done a video on that before, but nevertheless, she persisted, as the Beltway loves to say. Quote, speaking generally, of course, but more broadly, high turnout and voter suppression can take place at the same time, she said. What? So, make this make sense to me, please. So you have record turnout and still have the suppression. So the suppression is to suppress means to stop. So you say so who's getting stopped if 1 million people are voting early already? Like where's the suppression? Well, quote, one doesn't have to happen on its own. They can be happening at the same time, but I will leave it there without being able to really dig into the politics of this. No, you leave it there because you can't really dig into the facts of this. You can't give any facts. You can't give any examples. You can't give any sources because it doesn't exist. You're making this up as you go along. Common sense would dictate that if voter suppression was occurring anywhere in Georgia, then a record amount of minorities would be reporting that they have been barred from voting. Quite the opposite. The share of black voters in Georgia has actually increased from 2020, according to Politico. Quote, at this point in 2020, black voters made up 33% of the share of the electorate. And in 2022, they're up 35%, the outlet reported. So this is by the own leftist media reporting that voting is actually going up with black voters and other minorities. Yet Democrats can't admit that a Republican voting law actually helped increase Democratic participation. So instead, they blow by and make up nonsense. The party entire midterm plan is to deny reality. That's all they can do because they can't go on anything. They can't go on the economy because of inflation. They can't go on anything. Up is down, right is wrong, men are women, abortion is healthcare, Biden is competent, record voting turnout is voter suppression. And this is exactly the stuff that the Bible talks about. This stuff will happen. Bad will be considered good, and up would be down. Like the Bible explicitly talks about this in the book of Revelation. Uh, and this is what's happening right now. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out democrapublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace. Oh,